Hi there, I'm Helen Osmond, founder of Osmond Education. I'm an award-winning maths tutor and have been teaching students GCSE and A-Level maths since 2010. Now, in this little video, I would like to show you the big mistake that I see students making time after time after time in this particular topic, working out the mean from a frequency table. It's the same mistake that they make year upon year upon year. And it's an easy one to avoid if we're careful. So let's dive into what we're looking at. So, averages from a frequency table, strangely enough, come up frequently on GCSE maths exams. And this is a topic that can be on both the higher and the foundation tier. The image here is from first class maths. They have worked out that averages from tables or diagrams comes up on the Edexcel higher tier with a 79% probability and the Edexcel foundation tier on 100% probability. That means in the previous papers, there has always been a question from this topic on the Edexcel foundation and a high proportion for the Edexcel higher, AQA higher, and even the AQA foundation. Unfortunately, I don't have the numbers to hand for the OCR syllabus, but it will be a similar amount. So this is a really common question to come up, but it's the same common mistake that's made all the time. So the questions look a little bit like this. We are working out the mean from a table. Okay, the table will either have groups of data in their rows or maybe just single values. Now, when it's grouped data like this, we are doing an estimate of the mean because we don't have the exact data. We only know that there is one person that's in the 5 to 10 category and two people in the 10 to 15 category. What we do assume when we're doing these is that it is evenly spread, and that bit's going to come up later. But they look a bit like this. Less common, it could look a bit like this. Now, this is not a grouped frequency table. This is just a frequency table. So we haven't got a group of numbers of coffees. We've just got that there are the amount of people that had 2 cups of coffees, there was one of them. 3 cups of coffee, there were 3 people that had that many. So there's not a group, it's just a category. Okay, but it's still within a table rather than a long list. And it's a similar method for both of them. But in this situation, we have the exact data. It's not an estimate. Whereas if it's a grouped frequency table, we have an estimate. So I'm going to go back to that first question that I showed you, okay, and work out the estimate for the mean for this particular exam question. Okay, now this is a past paper question. This is Edexcel in November 2019. It was question 25 on the foundation tier, but it was also question 4 on the higher tier. It crosses over, it's in both papers. So both tiers need to be looking at this. Okay, so we're going to work out an estimate for the mean. Correct to 3 significant figures in the question tells me that I'm going to have some decimals going on. So if I'm doing it with a grouped, the first thing I need to find is a midpoint. Okay, now I'm just going to shorten that to mid here for space, but I'm looking for the midpoint of each of these groups. So the midpoint of this one is 7.5. The midpoint of this one is 12.5. And then we've got 17.5, and then we have got 22.5. Now, if you have that second example that didn't have the group, you don't need to do this step. Okay, our next step then is to calculate the next column, which would be our midpoint times our frequency. Okay, this column, because I'm saying that I've got 1 in this category, and the middle of this category is 7.5. So I would do 1 times 7.5. Now, if you don't have the midpoint, you are just going to do the frequency times the category. It's the same bit of maths. We just need a midpoint when we've got the groups. This one here then is going to be 2 times 12.5. We have got 7 times 17.5 and 8 times 22.5. Now I'm going to work out each of those numbers. This one here is 7.5. I have got 25 for the second row I have 122.5 for the third row and 180 for this row. Now, a lot of students remember what they need to do is to add up all the numbers and divide by how many we have. So we're going to add up all our numbers and we get 335. Now, here comes the mistake, okay? Students go, I'm going to divide by the number that I have, and they look and we see that we have got 4 groups. So they carry out, let's just get a different colour pen for you. There we go, wasn't going to click. They would do 335 divided by the 4 categories in this situation. Now, if I carry out that sum, that gives me 83.75. Okay? That's the mistake, okay? This is not a sensible answer for what we're expecting, okay? Our mean, our average, what we're expecting to see is somewhere between 5 and 25 as a number. So the problem is that the students have divided by how many categories and not by how many people are in the test, are in the situation, okay? That would be the 18 students required to run the race. You can also get it from adding up all of this column here. 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 7. The total frequency is then 18. So the sum that we want to be doing is then actually 335 divided by 18. Now, when I put that into a calculator, I get an answer of 18.6 to 3 significant figures that I wanted. This is a lot more sensible. It's a value between R5 and R25, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for what do we expect our students to do. We expect a number within the data that we have. So that's the big mistake. We want to be dividing by the total frequency and not by the number of categories. I'm going to say that one more time so that you don't miss it. Students need to divide by the number of pieces of data, that total frequency, and not the amount of categories. That's the big mistake that I see being done time and time again with these questions. I hope that's a really helpful tip for you. If you need any further help in your GCSE or even A-Level journeys, then please do get in contact with Osmond Education. Our social media links are all in the comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you.